Folks, welcome back to another episode of Fallen Badge. This is going to be the murder of Agent Ben Grogan and Jerry Dove, FBI, Miami Field Office, Part 2. Alright, it's April 11th, 1986. 8:45 a.m. FBI's going to put out a surveillance operation. Now, they know these guys have been operating up and down South Dixie Highway. Now, this operation's being set up because they're going to try to locate and apprehend the two white males that are robbing banks and armored cars. Two suspects that they know are responsible for multiple shootings and the death of several people. They met at the Home Depot there in southwest Miami. Now, the FBI called this a physical canvass or surveillance. The area they're going to be in is going to be 53 block area running from 130th Street to 183rd Street. And the epicenter of that's going to be South Dixie Highway, which is also known as Highway 1. Now, McNeil, he's the supervisor over C1 Charlie 1. That's the personal crimes unit. Also on the surveillance, it's going to be Agent Grogan, Agent Dove, Agent Hanlon, Agent Morales, Agent Manuzzi, Agent Reisner, and Agent Aranti. 6 additional agents involved in this surveillance. So for a total of 14 agents would be involved in this operation. All right, folks, looking at the picture here, all the weapons in the blue background, that's the weapons that all the FBI agents on the surveillance had with them. Now, the orange background, that's the suspect's weapons. That's what Platmatics will have this day. Now, that red circle I have, that shows you the weapons used by or in possession of the FBI agents that were actually involved in the shootout. As you can see, the AR-15 assault rifle and then that submachine gun, neither of those weapons were on that scene. They were in possession of agents that didn't get there in time. Now, McNeil was armed with a .357 caliber revolver. Now, he had an .870 Remington pump shotgun, but it was unloaded, laying on his back seat. Grogan had a Smith & Wesson model 459 semi-automatic pistol. Dove had a Smith & Wesson model 459 semi-automatic pistol. John Hanlon, he had a .38 caliber revolver, but he lost it during the pursuit. So he used his Smith & Wesson Model 36 5-shot revolver. Morales had a .357 caliber revolver, and he also had a Remington Model 870 pump shotgun. Manalzi had a .357 caliber revolver, model 19, he would end up losing that pistol during the crash. Reisner had a model 459 semi-automatic pistol. And he also had a Smith & Wesson model 60 38 caliber revolver. Arentia, he had a Smith & Wesson 357 caliber revolver. Now the suspects, Max has got a Smith & Wesson model 3000 12 gauge pump shotgun for folding stock. He also had a Dan Wesson 357 Magnum revolver. Platt had a Ruger Mini 14 223 with a folding stock, and then a Smith & Wesson model 586 357 Magnum revolver. Now, in this surveillance, they're going to conduct Agent McNeil, the supervisor. He's riding by himself. Now, Agent Grogan and Dove are in a two-man car. Hanlon and Morales are riding together. Manalzi is by himself. And then Reisner and Arantia are riding together in a car. So that's the makeup of the cars on this end of South Dixie Highway. Now around 9:30 a.m., after all the cars are out in their assigned areas, Agent Grogan gets on the radio and he says, "Hey, attention all units. We're behind a black vehicle, two-door, Florida license NTJ 891. We're headed south on South Dixie." And then he changes his mind and he says north on South Dixie. Then Reisner gets on there and he asks him, he goes, "Now are you going north or south on South Dixie?" Grogan says, "We're going north on South Dixie." Grogan repeats his information. 124th Street, that's the cross street, black Monte Carlo, two males in it. Now, McNeil, supervisor, gets on there and he's telling someone, one of the agents who has a radio that has a direct link with Metro Police, Miami, tells him to notify Metro right away. Now you got other cars that are asking again where the location is of the black Monte Carlo. Grogan gets back on there a minute or so later and he says 120th Street, which means they're still on South Dixie Highway, but they're at the cross street of 120th Street. Grogan's asking other cars to come on and get up there a little bit quicker. Dove gets on the radio and says it's two white males, one of them with a mustache. Then Grogan's back on the radio again and he says the suspect vehicle is making a right-hand turn on the 117th Street. And then the suspects make an immediate right-hand turn on 81st Road, heading south. Now, obviously, by now they've seen Grogan and Dove behind them, and so they're now making right-hand turns. Now, McNeil gets on the radio at this time, and he's asking someone over the radio, did they get a hold of Metro yet? Because they want to get some marked cars involved in this. Now another car gets on there and asks Grogan the location again. and it gets jumbled because you got so many cars on the radio at the same time. But they do hear him say turning right on the 120th Street, going back west, which means they're basically making the block. Now, Morales is on the radio letting Grogan know we're right behind you, and that if you want to go and make a stop, they're ready. Now, Grogan gets on there and says negative, let's get some more marked units. Now, the suspects make a left-hand turn back on the 82nd Street, and that's when they decide to do a felony car stop. Grogan and Dove have now been behind the suspect vehicle for about 5 minutes. So as soon as they hit Southwest 82nd Avenue, Grogan and Dove turn on their blue lights and hit their siren. Now, the suspect vehicle obviously doesn't stop. Now, Manalzi, he's in a one-man car. He's coming up behind Dove and Grogan. Now, Hanlon and Morales, they pull up alongside the suspect vehicle. Now, evidently, Hanlon, who was driving the car, swung his wheels, made a hard right, and attempted a pit maneuver on the suspect vehicle. Now, he evidently missed, or got very little of the back of the car, because he ends up hitting Manalzi's car. Now, Hanlon and Morales, their car, it spins out of control, runs over a post there on the side of the road near the utility company, and hits a tree, a small tree, right there at the wall of the utility company. Now, the suspects then make a U-turn. I don't know if they went quite as far as what my picture depicts, but anyways, they then made a U-turn and came back northbound on 82nd. Now, Manalzi turns with them, and he impacts the driver's side of the suspect vehicle. And when he does, he runs it into a tree and one of two parked cars at the residence at 12201 82nd Avenue. So now the suspects are effectively pinned in their car. And Manalzi, whose gun was on the seat of the vehicle, of his vehicle, he can't find it, so now he's going to try to get out of the car. McNeil's now turned into the area, and he's pulled in front of his car, is basically pointing to the rear of Manalzi's car. Grogan and Dove have gotten turned around. They've pulled back up to the scene, and they have parked directly behind Manalzi's car.